Okay, so here's something I think a lot of advanced English learners run into. You've put in the work, right? Your English is pretty solid on paper C1, maybe even pushing C2. You can handle complex emails, grammar's not really an issue, your vocabulary is wide.
Mm.
But then you jump into a real, like, fast-paced conversation with native speakers, maybe watching a movie without subtitles, and suddenly it feels like everything you learned just kind of disappears.
Yeah.
You're scrambling, trying to catch every sound, but the actual meaning, it's like trying to grab smoke, it just slips away.
Oh, absolutely. It's that classic advanced learning plateau, isn't it? You feel like you've stopped learning words and suddenly you're just lost in this whirlwind of connected sounds, weird accents, fast speech.
Exactly, a whirlwind.
And it is overwhelming. And worse, you totally miss the subtleties, right? The jokes, the sarcasm, the stuff that's implied but not said outright. Your brain's just working so hard to keep up with the basics.
That's the core problem we're tackling today. Moving past just hearing individual words, which you could probably do, to actually understanding the flow, the speed, the rhythm, and all that non-literal stuff that makes up real, authentic English. That's our goal here.
And welcome back to the Motivated Mind Zone. Really glad to have you here for this.
Oh.
We're diving deep today, drawing from quite a few good sources, including a really practical article we'll reference called English Common Listening Mistakes and How to Avoid Them.
Right.
And this is specifically for you, the advanced learner who's maybe feeling a bit stuck with these particular listening challenges.
Yeah, we're aiming for some real light bulb moments today. We're going to break down 10 common pitfalls, things that consistently trip up even really advanced learners. We'll unpack some practical hands-on strategies, things like shadowing, using minimal pairs, stuff you can actually do.
And then, crucially, we're moving beyond theory. We'll spend a good chunk of time looking at a real-world scenario, a day in the life of a native speaker. We're calling him James. We'll dissect his interactions to see how all these nuances play out.
The idea is to give you more than just tips. We want this to feel like a kind of cheat sheet for deeper comprehension, moving your focus from just the sound.
The rhythm, the intonation, the cultural context, all of it.
Exactly. So let's get started. Let's diagnose these 10 common mistakes. Okay, mistake number 1, and this one feels almost counterintuitive, especially after years of language classes. It's trying to understand every single word.
Oh, yeah, this is a huge one. It comes from how we first learn, right? Focusing on vocabulary, grammar rules.
Mm-hmm.
But when you apply that hyper-focus to listening to natural, fast speech, it just backfires. Your brain gets completely overloaded trying to decode every little "the" is.
Right. And while you're stuck on that one word you missed, the speaker is already 3 sentences ahead,
Yeah.
and you've lost the thread completely.
Exactly. You lose the context. Real spoken English isn't neat sentences like in a textbook.
Yeah.
It's messy. It's got contractions, slang, people stop mid-thought. They use fillers like and
All that stuff.
Yeah. So trying to catch every single particle, it's exhausting, and it actually gets in the way of understanding the main point.
So the fix is shifting your focus.
Precisely. You need to prioritize getting the overall meaning, the gist. Think about how you read in your native language. You don't analyze every single letter or word, do you?
No, not at all. You scan, look for patterns, key ideas.
Exactly. Listening is similar. You train your brain to filter out the noise, the less important function words, and latch onto the key information carriers. The nouns, the main verbs, the adjectives, the adverbs that tell you how.
Okay, so how do we practice that? How do you train that filter?
Variety and verification are key. Listen to lots of different things. TED Talks for structured arguments, podcasts for casual chat, news reports for speed and specific vocabulary. Expose yourself to different paces, different voices.
Get that variety in.
And then use transcripts strategically. Don't read along while listening, at least not initially. Listen first. Try to summarize the main points in your head. Then check the transcript.
Ah, so verification after the attempt.
Yes. And the goal isn't to see every word you missed. It's to check, did I understand the main idea even though I missed some words? Often the answer is yes. And realizing you can get 90% of the meaning with maybe 80% of the words, that's a huge confidence boost. It proves the GIST strategy works.
Okay, that makes sense. Moving on to number 2, which I think is maybe the biggest hurdle for many, connected speech, that blending effect.
Ugh, yes. The bane of the language learner's existence. This is where words don't just sit next to each other nicely, they crash together. Sounds disappear. That's called elision. Sounds change based on their neighbor's assimilation, or they link up smoothly linking.
Right. The example often used is go on, sounding like, what was it, guan?
Yeah, or something close.
Yeah.
Or did becoming deja. It's not just the speed, it's these actual phonetic changes happening between words that make familiar words sound totally alien.
So you have to learn this, like secret code.
Kind of. You need to train your ear to expect and recognize these common links and reductions, especially around those little function words, prepositions, articles, auxiliary verbs. They often get squashed down into that weak schwa sound, the tone sound, like for becomes for, can becomes fieren. Recognizing that sound is half the battle.
Okay, and the practice tool for this.
Shadowing is fantastic for this. And I mean real shadowing, not just repeating afterwards, but trying to speak at the same time as a recording, maybe just a fraction of a second behind.
That sounds intense.
It is, but it forces you to stop thinking about individual words and really focus on the rhythm, the melody, the intonation, and crucially, how those sounds connect and flow together. You're trying to mimic the music of the language, not just the words.
And if trying to speak simultaneously feels impossible at first.
Good point. Start slower. Use the playback speed feature on your player. Slow it down to 0.75x. This lets you hear those connections and reductions in slow motion. It's like training wheels for your ears.
Huh. I like that, training wheels.
Then, once you get comfortable, gradually bump the speed back up to normal, then maybe even faster to challenge yourself.
Yep, got it. Okay, mistake number 3. The accent tapestry. English isn't one language, is it? It feels like dozens sometimes.
It really does. You've got British, American, Australian, Canadian, Indian, South African, and then within each of those, countless regional accents. Yorkshire, Texas, Sydney, Dublin. They can sound incredibly different.
Yeah, it can feel like you've mastered one type of English and then you hear someone else and it's like starting over, pronunciation changes, stress patterns, the melody, it's all different.
Exactly. And the only real fix is massive, deliberate exposure. You have to actively build your brain's database of accents.
So where do you start?
Start broad, maybe with resources that tend to use clearer, more standard accents. BBC Learning English, NPR News from the US, maybe TED Talks often feature speakers with pretty clear articulation.
Okay, the standards first.
But then you have to branch out intentionally. Use platforms like, say, LingQ, where you can find audio with transcripts from all over the world. Or search on Audible for audiobooks read by actors with specific accents you find tricky. Watch movies or TV shows set in particular regions. Seek out international news channels.
Be deliberate about it.
Yes, it's about systematically exposing yourself until that initial shock of hearing a new accent wears off and your brain starts recognizing the patterns within it.
All right, number 4. Idioms and phrasal verbs. The spice of the language, maybe, but also super confusing.
Oh, definitely. If you try to translate bite the bullet or throw in the towel literally,
Yeah.
well, you're going to be completely lost.
Yeah, picturing someone actually biting a bullet isn't helpful.
Not at all. These rely on figurative meaning. You have to understand the implied idea, not the literal words.
And the key to learning these is?
Context. Context is everything. Watching stuff is great here. Sitcoms, talk shows, dramas, they're full of natural, everyday idioms and phrasal verbs.
Because you see the situation.
Exactly. You see the character's expression, you understand the context of the scene. If someone looks totally fed up and says they're going to call it a night, the visual cues plus the situation tell you they mean they're leaving or going to bed, even if you've never heard that exact phrase before.
Makes sense. Active learning for these.
Keep a dedicated vocabulary journal. But don't just write the idiom in a definition. Write down the sentence or the little dialogue chunk where you heard it. Note the context.
Capture the situation.
Precisely. And use flashcard apps, Aki, Quizlet, whatever works for you for spaced repetition. Review them regularly, focusing on recalling the meaning in context.
Got it. Okay, last one for this section, mistake 5. implied meanings, and sarcasm. This feels related to idioms, but maybe more subtle.
It is. Native speakers use indirect language all the time. Irony, sarcasm, understatement. If you take everything literally, you'll constantly misunderstand people's intentions or their humor.
Like the classic, someone spills coffee all over the report and says, "Oh, great."
Exactly. The words say great.
Right.
But the tone, the sigh, the situation, everything screams, this is terrible. The fix here is tuning into those sensory clues.
Beyond just the words.
Way beyond. You have to listen to the tone of voice. Is it flat, exaggeratedly cheerful? Is the pitch higher or lower than usual? What about the pace? Are they speaking slower or faster? If you can see them, what's their facial expression doing? Raised eyebrows, a wry smile.
So it's about reading the whole package, the sound, the body language, the context. How do you practice that?
Study common patterns. Sarcasm often involves a slight drawl or maybe an overly enthusiastic tone that doesn't match the situation. Irony might use understatement. You find examples online or pay close attention in movies.
And maybe try it yourself.
Definitely. Role-playing helps. Practice saying a simple sentence like, I just love working late. First genuinely, then with obvious sarcasm, then maybe with tired resignation. Play with your tone and notice how drastically it changes the meaning, even though the words are identical. It helps you become more sensitive to those shifts when you hear them.
Okay, let's move into the next set of challenges. Mistake number 6. Simply losing focus during longer stretches of listening. Lectures, meetings, even long podcast episodes.
It's incredibly demanding in a second language. Your brain is working overtime just processing the sounds and meaning, so mental fatigue sets in really quickly. You start to drift, distractions creep in.
Yeah, totally happens. So how do we fight that fatigue and stay engaged?
Active listening strategies are crucial. It's about forcing your brain to stay involved, not just passively receiving sound.
Okay, like what?
One simple but really effective technique is taking notes. Not detailed notes, just keywords. Jotting down the main nouns, verbs, key concepts as you hear them.
How does that help focus?
It acts as an anchor. It gives your brain a task related to the content, and it offloads some of the memory burden. You don't have to hold everything in your head. Plus, looking back at your keywords can quickly remind you where the conversation was going if you do drift for a second.
Okay, keywords. What else?
Mentally summarize.
Yeah.
Every few minutes, consciously pause your internal monologue and ask yourself, okay, what were the last few main points? What's the speaker arguing now?
Like a little comprehension check-in.
Exactly. It forces you to process and synthesize the information actively, rather than letting it just wash over you. It keeps you tracking the argument or narrative.
The sources also mentioned guided listening exercises.
Yeah, things where you have a specific task before you listen, like listen to this news report and identify the 3 main causes of the event. Having a clear goal focuses your attention. You're listening for something specific.
Okay, that makes sense. But then it mentioned meditation or mindfulness. That seems like a jump. How does mindfulness practice help you understand rapid English?
It does sound a bit disconnected at first, doesn't it? But think about what listening requires, especially complex, extended listening. It demands sustained attention, high-level focus. Mindfulness practices, like focusing on your breath or body sensations, are essentially training exercises for your attention muscle. They improve your ability to stay focused for longer periods and to gently bring your attention back when it wanders without frustration.
Ah, so it's strengthening the underlying cognitive skill.
Precisely. You're building your general capacity for sustained focus. This means when you are listening to English, your brain is better equipped to stay on task, process the input more efficiently, and resist distractions, both internal and external. It increases your mental stamina for the listening task.
Okay, I see the connection now. It's foundational training.
All right, mistake 7. Confusing similar-sounding words, those pesky minimal pairs.
Yes. Ship versus sheep. Let versus leave. Bear versus bear. They sound so similar, often differing by just one tiny vowel or consonant sound.
And getting them wrong can lead to some awkward most.
Or just complete misunderstanding. The fix is basically becoming a phonetic detective. You need to really fine-tune your ability to discriminate between these very similar sounds.
Minimal pairs exercises are the gold standard here. You find lists or audio recordings of these pairs, ship, sheep, cat, cut, pen, pan, and practice listening specifically for that one sound difference. You're training your ear to catch the subtle vowel length or the slight change in tongue position.
Where do you find these exercises?
Lots of pronunciation websites and apps have them. You can also look at phonetic transcriptions. They might look intimidating, but the International Phonetic Alphabet, IPA, gives you a precise visual map of exactly how a sound is made.
And resources like Forvo.
Forvo is brilliant for this. It's a huge online dictionary where you can hear native speakers from all over the world pronounce words. So you can hear water pronounced the American way, the British way, the Australian way, and really zero in on those subtle phonetic differences. Hear the T sound changing, for example.
Very cool. Okay, mistake 8. Dealing with background noise. The real world is rarely quiet.
So true. Cafes, busy streets, open-plan offices. There's always competing noise. And that's incredibly distracting when you're already working hard to understand a second language.
So you can't just wait for perfect silence.
Nope. You have to practice listening in noise. The strategy is twofold. Simulate and strategize.
Simulate.
Use apps or websites that let you play audio with adjustable background noise, cafe chatter, traffic sounds. Start with low noise, then gradually increase the level as you get better at filtering.
And the strategize part.
That's about changing your approach when you're in a noisy environment. You have to accept you probably won't catch every single word. So stop trying to. Instead, focus your energy strategically. Listen specifically for the keywords, the main nouns, verbs, names, numbers, the core information.
Filter aggressively.
Exactly. Train your brain to latch onto the signal, the important words, and ignore the noise, everything else, including the actual background sounds. It's about maximizing comprehension efficiency under difficult conditions.
Right. Which leads nicely into mistake 9, fast speech. Sometimes it feels like native speakers just inhale their words.
It can feel like that. It's often that combination of speed plus the connected speech we talked about earlier. Mistake 2. It's a double whammy that makes processing really challenging.
So how do you train your brain to keep up?
Gradual speed training is key. Start with something manageable. Watch a video clip with English subtitles. First, get the gist, see the words. Then, immediately watch the same clip again, but without the subtitles. Your brain already knows the context, so it can focus purely on the sound and speed.
Okay, subtitles on, then off. What else?
Challenge yourself with speed. Use a player that allows speed adjustment. Listen to something at 1.25x speed, or even 1.5x if you're feeling brave. It forces your brain to process faster.
Won't that just sound like chipmunks?
It might feel like that at first, but the magic happens when you switch back to normal 1x speed. Suddenly, it sounds noticeably slower and clearer because you've stretched your processing ability.
Ah, okay. Like weight training for your ears.
Exactly. And the other key technique here is predictive listening.
Anticipating what's coming next.
Yes. As an advanced learner, you have a lot of knowledge. Grammar patterns, common collocations, cultural context. Use it. If you hear, she decided to take. Based on context, you can probably predict the next word might be up, take up a hobby, on, take on a challenge, off, take off clothes time, etc.
You use the structure to guess.
Right. Or if someone starts a common idiom like, he really hit the nail, you can anticipate on the head. It's like getting a little head start, so you're not always reacting purely to the sounds as they arrive. You're processing proactively.
Okay, powerful. And the final one, mistake 10. Just a lack of authentic English conversations.
This is crucial. Textbook dialogues are clean, slow, perfectly grammatical. Real conversations, not so much.
They're messy.
Totally messy. Full of interruptions, false starts, slang, cultural jokes, filler words like and, people talking over each other. It's unpredictable.
So if you only practice with clean audio,
you're not prepared for the real thing. You need immersion in that messiness.
How do you get that if you don't live in an English-speaking country?
Media is your friend here. Seek out unscripted content. Vlogs on YouTube are often very natural. Reality TV shows, love them or hate them, can be a goldmine for authentic, spontaneous, sometimes messy dialogue.
Good point. Less scripted stuff.
Yeah. Podcasts with interviews or discussions, radio call-in shows, even audiobooks that feature lots of natural-sounding dialogue between characters.
And online conversations.
Absolutely. Language exchange platforms are great for finding partners for real, spontaneous conversations online. The key is to move beyond the sanitized world of textbooks and actively seek out the unpredictable, fast, and sometimes messy reality of spoken English, using all the strategies we've discussed to navigate it.
Okay, so we've laid out the problems and the strategies. Now let's make this really concrete. Let's follow our fictional native speaker, James. He's a 32-year-old marketing pro through a typical day. We'll listen in on his conversations and dissect them, looking for all those things we just talked about.
This is where the rubber meets the road, right? It's not just about knowing about connected speech or implied meaning. It's about recognizing it in action and understanding how James uses language to navigate his day and his relationships.
Exactly. So the day starts, alarm goes off, James groans. His first utterance. All right, I'm up.
Okay, notice the immediate casualness, the repetition of all right with that slightly drawn-out, reluctant tone. That instantly conveys his feeling not happy about waking up. It's pure implied meaning, mistake 5, through tone and reduction. The T in all right is probably very soft or even dropped.
Then his phone pings. A text from his coworker, Emily. Reminder. Client meeting at 10 a.m. James taps back. Got it. Thanks for the reminder.
See how efficient that is. No, dear Emily, no. I acknowledge receipt of your message. Just direct, polite, professional brevity. Got it. Replaces a full sentence. Thanks instead of thank you. Very common in quick work communication. Shows professional doesn't always mean formal.
Then his roommate, Mark, appears. Morning, man. You're up early.
Okay. Man. Classic informal address between friends. Mistake 10. And listen to how you're up early probably sounds. Not distinct words, but blended. You're up early? Heavy connected speech. Mistake 2 and reduction.
James replies, yeah, I got a big meeting today. Want some coffee?
Again, casual grammar. I got instead of I have. Blending information. Big meeting. Smoothly with a social offer. Want some coffee? Notice the implied do you is dropped from want some coffee. Very common in informal questions.
Mark says, that would be great, thanks. Then asks James about hiking later. James's reply, sounds fun, I'll let you know.
Ah, the classic, I'll let you know. This is peak indirectness, mistake 5. On the surface, it sounds positive, sounds fun, but I'll let you know is often a polite way of saying probably not, or I don't want to commit right now, without giving a direct no. Recognizing this cultural nuance is vital for advanced learners. It avoids firm commitment.
So important not to take that as a definite maybe even.
Often, yeah. It keeps options open politely.
Okay, James is ready to leave. Does a quick check. All right, wallet, keys, phone, good to go.
Good to go. Another super common idiom phrasal verb, mistake 4. It's just a relaxed, efficient way of saying, I'm ready, everything's packed, let's leave.
He heads out, bumps into Sarah from work. She gives the standard greeting, hey, James, how's it going?
And again, listen for the reduction, how's it going?
Yeah.
Often becomes, how's it going? Or even faster. It's a social pleasantry. It doesn't usually invite a long, detailed answer about your life problems.
Right. James gives a brief, positive reply. I'm good, just gearing up for that client meeting.
Gearing up for, nice phrasal verb, mistake 4, means preparing, getting ready, often for something challenging or important. Sarah asks if he's ready, and James says,
As ready as I'll ever be.
Boom. Perfect example of self-deprecating humor. Mistake 5. He's not saying he's unprepared. He's using a common lighthearted expression to manage expectations, show a little humility, maybe signal slight nerves without sounding stressed or unprofessional. Taking this literally would be a big misinterpretation. It builds rapport.
Later, the boss, Mr. Anderson, comes over. James, got a minute?
Notice the immediate shift. James uses Mr. Anderson, showing respect for hierarchy. The boss uses a polite check-in question. Got a minute? Acknowledging James might be busy. Standard workplace etiquette.
Mr. Anderson wants to give James a heads up about a specific client question that might come up.
Heads up Another fantastic, common informal idiom, mistake 4, means a warning, an advance notice, a piece of information to be aware of. James replies simply, "Got it. Thanks for the heads up."
Again, efficient, acknowledges receipt, shows he's understood. Clear and professional.
Exactly.
Okay, lunchtime. James and Sarah are ordering. We hear things like, "I'll have a turkey sandwich," and Sarah says, "I'll take the Caesar salad."
Pretty standard polite ordering language. "I'll have" and "I'll take" are interchangeable here. Not much hidden meaning, just functional politeness.
After the meeting, Sarah praises James. "You handled their questions really well."
Nice bit of positive feedback. Good for team morale, relationship building. James then offers help back. "If you need any help with that follow-up report, let me know."
And Sarah's reply, "Appreciate it." Simple, slightly more casual than "thank you," but perfectly appropriate between colleagues. It confirms the offer was received and valued. Closes the loop nicely.
Finally, end of the day. James is out with friends. He decides to leave. "All right, guys, I'm calling it a night."
Another great idiom, mistake 4. Calling it a night is a very common casual way to announce you're leaving an event or social gathering, especially in the evening. It signals the end of his participation.
And his farewell. "Catch you later."
Super common, informal goodbye. Catch you often reduces to catch ya. It implies "I'll see you again soon," but without any specific plan. It's friendly and casual.
So looking back at James's day, it's clear that so much communication happens between the lines. Absolutely. Through reductions, the idioms, the indirectness, the humor, the subtle shifts in formality depending on who he's talking to. Mastering listening at an advanced level means picking up on all of that, not just the dictionary definitions of the words. It's about understanding the function and the feeling behind a language. Okay, so we've seen the challenges and seen them in action. Now let's get really practical about the tools. How can you actively use media, movies, TV shows, podcasts to really absorb this natural language and context we saw with James?
Right. It's not just about passive watching. We need a strategy. Where do we start? Strategic media selection.
Exactly. Don't just watch anything. Choose content that's firstly enjoyable for you. You'll stick with it longer. But also think about the type of language. Sitcoms are great for everyday conversations, humor, those small social cues.
Like Friends or The Office.
Perfect examples. Lots of dialogue, relatively contained situations. Dramas often have more structured, maybe slightly slower dialogue, which can be good too. Think about something like The Crown, maybe.
Okay. What about news or documentaries?
Also excellent. News gives you exposure to clearer pronunciation, often varied accents from reporters around the world. Documentaries, especially ones like Planet Earth with narration, offer clear, well-paced speech.
And you mentioned leveraging familiarity.
Yes, this is a great hack. If you're feeling overwhelmed, start with a movie you've already seen in your own language, or a book you've already read.
Why does that help?
It lowers the cognitive load. You already know the plot, the characters, what's going to happen. So your brain doesn't have to struggle with understanding the story and the language simultaneously. It can dedicate all its resources to just focusing on the English, the sounds, the rhythm, the vocabulary in context.
Smart. Okay, let's talk subtitles. Big debate always. Tool or crutch?
They can be both. The key is using them strategically. It needs to be a conscious process, not just leaving them on forever.
So what's the process? Step 1.
Step 1. Start with English subtitles, not your native language. English subtitles help you connect the sounds you're hearing with the words on the screen. It reinforces spelling and helps you catch words you might otherwise miss.
Okay, English subtitles first. Then what?
Step 2, and this is crucial. Gradually ditch the subtitles. Turn them off completely. Force your brain to rely solely on your ears. This is where the real listening improvement happens.
What if it's just too hard or really complex scene?
Okay, in an absolute pinch, maybe flash your native language subtitles just for that specific tricky bit to understand a crucial plot point, then turn them straight off again. But use this very, very sparingly. Think of it as an emergency measure only. The goal is independence from subtitles.
Got it. Now, for more active viewing techniques, you mentioned the two-pass method.
Yes, this is really effective. Pick a scene, maybe 5–10 minutes long or even a whole short episode. First pass. Watch it with English subtitles. Focus on understanding the main idea, the plot, who's saying what.
Okay, pass 1 is comprehension with support.
Right. Then, immediately, second pass.
Mm.
Watch the exact same section again, but this time without any subtitles. Now, because you already know what's happening, your brain can laser focus on the language itself. How do the words connect? What's the rhythm? Where are the stress patterns? What words did they use? This second pass is pure language analysis.
I like that structured approach. What about pausing and shadowing?
Definitely. If you hit a phrase that's really fast, or uses weird intonation, or you just can't make it pause, rewind a few seconds. Listen again and again. Break it down. Then try shadowing it. Mimic the actor out loud, trying to match their speed, rhythm, and intonation exactly.
Should you record yourself?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Record yourself shadowing a short chunk, then listen back and compare it to the original. Where are the differences? Are you getting the connected speech right? The intonation? It's great for self-correction.
And making it interactive, taking notes.
Yeah, keep a notebook handy. Jot down new words, interesting phrases, especially those idioms. Try predicting what a character might say next, based on the context. You could even turn it into a mini quiz after watching. What were the 3 main things discussed in that scene? Summarize it out loud. Anything to make it active, not passive.
Okay, and tackling diverse accents through media.
Start with the more standard ones you're comfortable with, maybe General American or British RP. But then, as we said before, deliberately seek out content featuring accents you struggle with. Want to understand a Scottish accent? Watch Outlander or films set in Scotland. Birmingham, Peaky Blinders, Irish, Derry Girls, Australian, maybe Bluey for something fun.
Okay.
And again, mimic them. Don't be afraid to sound silly. Trying to replicate those sounds physically helps internalize the patterns much faster than just passively listening.
Makes sense. Okay, finally, let's really zoom in on some of those advanced idioms we touched on. Not just the definition, but the feel and the context.
Right, let's move beyond the basics. Everyday situations first. Bite the bullet. We mentioned it. The feeling is enduring something unpleasant but necessary with courage. Like, I hate calling customer service, but I guess I'll just have to bite the bullet. There's a sense of resignation, but also determination.
Hit the nail on the head. This one feels very precise.
It is. It means you've described something perfectly. Your assessment is spot on. There's a feeling of, yes, that's exactly it. Often said with admiration, your analysis of the problem really hit the nail on the head.
The ball is in your court. This feels like a definite shift.
Absolutely. It signals a transfer of responsibility. I've done my part, now it's your turn to act or decide. They're used a lot in negotiations or when waiting for someone else's response. We sent the contract. The ball's in their court now.
Okay, work and business ones. Back to the drawing board.
This means the initial plan failed completely, and you have to start over from the very beginning. It implies scrapping the old ideas and needing a totally fresh approach. Well, the client hated the proposal, so it's back to the drawing board.
Throw in the towel. Comes from boxing, right?
Yeah. It means giving up, admitting defeat, quitting. Often used when effort has been expended, but success seems impossible. After months of trying to fix the software bug, the team finally threw in the towel. It suggests finality.
Think outside the box. Very common business jargon.
It means be creative, be innovative, don't just stick to the usual methods or ideas. It's a call for unconventional thinking, often used in brainstorming. We need some fresh ideas for this marketing campaign. Let's think outside the box.
Okay. Social and emotional context. Spill the beans.
Reveal a secret, often something juicy or gossipy. The image is like dropping beans that scatter everywhere. The information is out and can't be easily contained, often used playfully. Come on, spill the beans, who got the promotion?
Go the extra mile. This sounds very positive.
It is. It means doing more than what's expected or required, putting in extra effort out of helpfulness or dedication. She always goes the extra mile for her students. It implies exceptional commitment.
Hit it off. About meeting people. Yeah.
Yes, having an instant connection or rapport with someone you've just met. Clicking immediately. I introduced Sarah to Mark, and they really hit it off. suggests immediate mutual liking and easy conversation.
And a few more for difficult situations or success, through thick and thin.
This implies unwavering support during both good times, thin, and bad times, thick. Loyalty and commitment regardless of circumstances. They've been friends for years, stuck together through thick and thin.
Between a rock and a hard place, feeling stuck.
Exactly. Trapped between two equally difficult or undesirable options. A dilemma with no easy way out. I can either accept a pay cut or risk losing my job. I'm really between a rock and a hard place.
Cut to the chase. Being direct.
Yes, get straight to the main point, stop wasting time with introductions or irrelevant details. Often used when time is short or someone is rambling. Okay, enough background, let's cut to the chase. What's the decision?
A blessing in disguise. Something good from bad.
Right. Something that seems negative or unfortunate at first, but turns out to have unexpected positive consequences later on. Missing that train was a blessing in disguise. I met my future wife while waiting for the next one.
Burn the midnight oil. Working hard.
Working or studying late into the night. It emphasizes the effort and sacrifice involved, usually to meet a deadline or achieve a goal. She was burning the midnight oil all week to finish her thesis.
And last one, jump on the bandwagon.
Joining a popular trend, activity, or cause, often because it's popular, not necessarily out of genuine conviction, can sometimes imply following the crowd. Everyone started investing in that cryptocurrency, so he decided to jump on the bandwagon too. Hashtag tag outro.
Wow. Okay, that was a seriously deep dive. We've covered a lot today. We started by diagnosing those 10 big listening roadblocks that trip up advanced learners. Things like focusing too much on single words, struggling with connected speech and accents.
Then we saw how those play out in real life. By following James through his day, seeing the idioms, the indirectness, the humor in action.
And finally, we equipped you with that advanced toolkit using media strategically, the two-pass method, shadowing, and really digging into the nuances of those idioms.
The biggest takeaway, I think, is that these struggles are normal. If you're experiencing them, you're not alone. There are typical challenges at the C1, C2 level. But the good news is there are concrete things you can do about them.
Absolutely. It's a process, isn't it? It takes patience and consistent effort.
Definitely. We'd really encourage you aim for maybe 20 or 30 minutes of focused, strategic listening practice each day. Don't try to do everything at once. Pick just one or two techniques from today that really resonated with you. Maybe it's the two-pass method with a favorite show. Maybe it's finding an online partner to practice with authentic conversation. Maybe it's focusing on minimal pairs for a specific sound you struggle with.
Start small, but be consistent.
Exactly. Choose one thing and start applying it now. Small, deliberate steps add up to significant progress over time.
So we'll leave you with a final thought to mull over, something to take away from today's deep dive.
Yeah, think about James's day again. Beyond just the words and the grammar, what did observing his interactions teach you about the culture of communication in English, especially in professional versus social settings?
Like, how did those subtle shifts in formality, calling his friend man, using humor with colleagues, but being more formal with his boss, Mr. Anderson, how did those choices help him build and maintain different kinds of connections?
And more importantly, how could you start noticing and perhaps applying similar observations about tone, context, and relationship building in your own English communication? It's about listening not just for meaning, but for connection.
Something to really think about. Thank you so much for joining us today for this deep dive.
Yes, thank you. Happy listening and happy learning.